Hello, I'm Interweb Studios and today we ask Reddit what are some red flags that suggest someone isn't a good person. Make sure to stick around until the end to listen to the lightning round. Alrighty, with that out of the way, sit back and enjoy. Not owning up to their mistakes and always attributing it to someone or something else. I see you have met my mother. My mom's famous line when caught doing something wrong is, "Well, I didn't know," instead of, "I'm sorry." Obligatory posting of the narcissist's prayer. That didn't happen. And if it did, it wasn't that bad. And if it was, that's not a big deal. And if it is, that's not my fault. And if it was, I didn't mean it. And if I did, you deserved it. How they treat people in the service industry. When they act like they are better than waiters, fast food employees, or retail workers. Not sure this is that subtle, but this is one of the absolute best indicators. I heard about a small business owner who used that as a litmus test for management perspective. He set it up with his favorite restaurant and would stay in the kitchen. The wait staff would tell him how the prospective candidate was treating them while he made them wait a half hour for him. Littering. It's not a violent act or anything, but it does indicate a lack of respect that usually carries into other aspects of the person's life. Yes, kinda along the same lines of people who don't return their grocery cart. That lack of respect. A few weeks ago, I took my aunt to the pharmacy and sat out in the truck while she went in. I saw a woman go absolutely out of her way to return a cart to the corral. But then she got back to her vehicle and dropped a bag of fast food trash on the ground before she left. It was baffling. They share private information about others with you. 100% if they're sharing to you. They're sharing about you as well. Yep. When someone spills the tea, I make sure I don't tell them shit about me. This exactly. I work with a bunch of ladies at work and every time I go in, there's always something they have to say. I listen because who doesn't love good gossip? But I always make a mental note never to say anything personal to them ever. Yes. Have been thinking about this a lot lately. I used to be stuck interacting with a girl who weaponized the secrets of everyone around here. She lived for collecting other people's traumas and discussing them with third parties over drinks. It took a long time to realize that she just doesn't know how to form connections without trauma bonding and never to give her any tangible info as it will get spread in an unflattering way. I regret what I have shared with her and fully expect it to resurface. We all worked at a startup together, and I could tell whenever her or other gossips were on the prowl because clusters of my old coworkers would suddenly view my LinkedIn at 6 p.m. on a Friday LMAO. The more socially clueless would even go as far as to message me about her rumors, which is how I figured out what was going on. Sounds like you met my bitch sister. They believe that respect is earned but demand it immediately from you. Sometimes people use respect to mean treating someone like a person, and sometimes to mean treating someone like an authority. For some, if you don't respect me, I won't respect you, means, if you don't treat me like an authority, I won't treat you like a person. Or, conversely, when they love to constantly say, with all due respect, right before they disrespect someone. If someone is due no respect, then technically, with all due respect, is still accurate, it's simply that there's no respect due. Someone who is incapable of reflecting. They are the center of their own universe. They are unable to grasp the big picture or how they fit within it. Everyone has a place in the larger picture, which is their small view of the world. Everyone I don't like is a narcissist and everything I don't like is gaslighting. I had a friend, a sort of second mom, who took a liking to me. I knew she was headstrong, and probably a little narcissistic, but she also did so much for me, while I was in her favor. But she slowly got more comfortable around me and gossiped about others, doing that very thing, calling everyone else narcissists for having basic needs and reasonable reactions to her overstepping of bounds. If they dared to make even the most meager demand of her time and effort, they were selfish, and yet she never really helped anyone she didn't have a special liking to. And that all came crashing down the day that she stopped liking me. The moment I was of no use, I was tossed aside. The moment I dared to defend someone she verbally and emotionally abused in my presence, I was the target. And the moment I then tried to defend myself from her anger, I was the narcissist, only thinking of myself. I think it's easy to paint narcissism as a blindness, wherein people are just not aware of others and only of themselves. And if you do it that way, you can almost excuse it as something we can just easily teach, a sort of, we can get them to hold hands and sing Kumbaya solution. But it's worse than that. A real narcissist is fully aware, and cautiously chooses who to treat nice, based on convenience to them. What makes them different from most people is the calculation they make in their heads when someone is inconvenient, or rather lack thereof. Their side of the equation in this social arithmetic is always more important to them, and the other side is effectively a zero in their eyes. When they see someone else's progress or success as a threat. Once had a live-in ex that went off on me for buying everything on our shopping list. I thought he would be excited. Instead, he accused me of only doing it to rub it in his face that I wear the pants and can provide more than he could. And said I made him feel like a loser and it was shitty of me to have bought the things we needed. And that's why he is your ex. Casual, unnecessary lying. My ex came across as the nicest person ever. Soft-spoken, never wanting to offend anyone, ignoring problems because he was non-confrontational, friends with everyone, you know the type. It took years for me to realize he just needed everyone to like him at any cost. The giveaway? Constantly omitting information or straight up lying if it would cause an issue. He was a snake and had that feigning confusion look down to and, on rare occasions, someone figured out his BS and confronted him. He has cheated and lied to so many people. Partners, friends, you name it, just trying to be liked at all costs. You are right, but I'd like to point out that there's also a possibility of an abusive childhood. Sometimes I still lie for no reason and it's very much because I spent my entire childhood doing it. I'm working on it, but man, it's like my mouth moves faster than my brain. Regular put-downs that are disguised as jokes. Edit. I think I need to be more clear here. I'm talking about jokes that they either carry on long after everyone else has stopped, or alternatively legit insults that they will only claim as a joke if you get upset. True. It's always low when friends insult you physically and tell you, when you get offended or you retaliate, it's just a joke. I had a county worker who would mumble, asshole, and when confronted with, excuse me, would always say, just talking to myself. That one would be easy and hilarious to deal with. I would just mumble back, shitty cunt motherducker needs to mumble quieter, right after he explains himself. Then look at him to see if he'll ask what I said, then offer the same explanation. Passively aggressively insulting you in front of a group of people in such a way that you can't say anything back without looking like you're the emotional one even though you know that they intentionally insulted you to disrespect you. I tend to feign confusion so I can say something offensive back in a seemingly unintentional way. Exactly this. Request elaboration until they either have to abort or say something directly shitty. This is the key. Their whole goal is to roast you quickly and move on, but if you ask them to elaborate, explain, they look like a complete pos even more so than before. Plus it puts them in a very awkward and uncomfortable position of having to explain the joke. Always blaming others for things that happened to them, and not putting the trolley back after they are done with it. They try too hard to prove they're a good person. True, watch out for people who call themselves empaths. I have an exhausting amount of empathy, but I never ever would say I'm an empath, and I couldn't put my finger on why, but this is it. People that say they're an empath usually have an inflated sense of self because of this, and see themselves as superior for some reason. I've also noticed they tend to swing between gentle ethereal woodland hippie, let's all love and get along. And I cut all toxic people out of my life, test me and see what happens. Just a strange type of person. Alright, time for the lightning round. Alrighty, let's begin. They talk shit about others to you. They share other people's secrets to you. They talk down on others with you. They have friends who treat other people poorly, or they, for example, cheat on their partners. They cut lines. They throw out trash onto the streets. They're only nice when things are going their way. Their treatment of the weakest members of society, including defenseless animals, the homeless and those in low service positions. When they say they're a good person, you don't need to tell someone you're a person for them to know you are one. They demand forgiveness instead of asking for it. I said I was sorry, it's done now. Get over it. When they flip every criticism back on you. The theme music changes in tone. Your pet dies. Them, dude, it's just an animal. If they're dismissive of what you have to say or want to share. Borrowing money and forgetting to, claims he already paid it back. Borrowing tools, clothing and breaking or ruining them. By this time you should cut all ties. And with that, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. Check out the video on screen if you want to see other entertaining Reddit answers. Until next time.